You all know who these shirkers are. You know the families. You know where they live. You've seen them drinking their cans of beer late in the morning, fag hanging out of their mouths. They've normally got Sky Sports blaring. How do they pay for that? I'll tell you, you pay for it through your benefits. This Tory government is languishing in the opinion polls, bereft of any real policy ideas. Until, look at this great headline in today's Daily Mail. 1 million on sickness benefits will have to find a job. At last, Rishi Sunak's government is going to get to grips with the army of shirkers, the people who prefer to stay at home, living the life to the full on benefits, which we people who work hard have to pay for. There are now 2.4 million people on incapacity benefit. That number has soared since the pandemic. Of course it has. Lots of them, hundreds of thousands of them, have anxiety problems. Do they? I'm very sorry to hear that. Many more, of course, are suffering from the modern scourge of Britain, their mental health issues. Well, Mel Stride, the Work and Pension Secretary, is going to announce a crackdown. He's going to say if they don't apply for jobs, they will have their benefits docked. Hooray! At last. So why am I furious? Because when you read into this story, the government are not going to do a single thing about it until 2025. That's 2 years away. That's too long. The benefits bill is already at a record. £26 billion we're paying an incapacity benefit. Do you know how many hospitals that would pay for? Literally hundreds. So why are they waiting until 2025? I'll tell you why. Because ministers are nervous about how the public will react, especially in the run-up to a general election, which will be next year. Possibly in May, more likely in October. What are they nervous about? The public will cheer this to the rafters. It's what we want. You all know who these shirkers are. You know the families. You know where they live. You've seen them drinking their cans of beer late in the morning, fag hanging out of their mouths. They've normally got Sky Sports blaring. How do they pay for that? I'll tell you, you pay for it through your benefits. So I'm saying to Rishi Sunak and Mel Stride, the Work and Pension Secretary, get on with it. We're fed up with it. We're sick to death of our benefits pouring into the pockets of the undeserving, the lazy, the feckless. Of course there are many deserving cases and they deserve our support. And in fact, if you read into those figures, many of the people on benefits would quite like a job and would need some encouragement. Some of them, of course, could work from home. If they're civil servants, they already do. Or, as we discovered in the Daily Mail earlier this week, some of them are working from the beach. The government has to get a grip with it. In my view, it gives a whole new meaning to that expression, living in a free society. Free for them while we're paying for it. So I'm saying to ministers, you're miles behind in the opinion polls. You've got very little policy ideas coming up. We've got a party conference season in just a few weeks' time. This should be the flagship announcement, and they should say they're going to get stuck into it immediately. I think it's a really, really good idea and a really important idea. And don't go running away with the idea, I'm some privileged posh bloke. I was brought up in a council estate in Swindon. My father worked in a factory, and when he was on strike, which he often was because of those wretched trade unions, there were no benefits for our family. My mum had to go and work cleaning in the evening, and Dad used to get a bit of gardening work. So I'm not some privileged posh boy, which is what you get quite a lot of in Rishi Sunak's cabinet, which is why, of course, they're so nervous about the idea of taking on the army of social security, welfare benefit scroungers. That's what I think. What do you think? I don't mind if you don't care, but I want to know what your reaction is, and you can react in the comments box below.